Good morning. Let me go over to YouTube Studio. Content live. We're going to monetize this mofo. Save. And then we're going to turn on the do not disturb. And I don't know why I'm never... let's see you. Live. 12.5. That's me. Hit the thumbs up button. Let's say QQQ. I gotta sell my... What I want to look at is TQQQ. Did I get out of that? Hasn't triggered me yet, but boy. We're down 1.19%. You know what? I think I'm going to get out of it. Let's see. Where's my Weeble? What am I up in TQQQ? TQQQ is up 25%. Yeah, I think it's time to get out of that one. Let's see, where's the support level? What do I want to... No. Sell to close, limit. Okay. Morning, Joe. I am putting my TQQQ in to sell at 42.50. So we'll see if it hits that. Let's see. We're going to go to Savvy Trader. I had a good discussion, good email with Savvy Trader last night. These guys are, I mean, they're great guys. They really are. Let's go to this. And then we're going to go TQQQ. Okay. Now I've got to figure out, let's see, orders. Okay. I'm trading live on Webull. I love this thing, man. Filled. Okay. Sell. Let me see. I think I sold everything. No. Yeah. 42, 45. Morning, Chris. Okay. We're gonna put in this chart. Copy and paste. Okay, we sold out of that. Yeah, see, Savvy Trader doesn't sell in after hours, so it's a little bit But I had a good discussion with Savvy Trader last night about they're going to keep the core portfolio, I think, free. I asked them to keep core portfolio free. Trading portfolio they will take out, and it will only be available with people with a direct link. So, yeah. Yesterday's thing. Let's see. We're going to have to do some scans. But that's been sitting in my kind of to-do list for a while, so I figured I'd do it. Uber. Ooh. Uber. Pepsi. Morning, Larry. Let's see. Brokerage holdings, probably the same thing. Yep. I don't like this covered call ETF list to scan with, I should say. Boyle. Ooh, Boyle's up 3%. Great article from Seeking Alpha last night on natural gas that I'll include in the newsletter. Low cost spider sectors, nothing in spider. My not owned list. Uber. Oh, realty is, solid comeback. Okay. I'm texting you right now. Okay. Okay. Good morning. Okay. Okay. Comeback. This one has had a solid comeback. I mean, this, it's a REIT. But look at that. I mean, that's been oof. Massimo. Host hotels. Wow. Look at that, from 15 to 18. 3D printing ETF. Neo. Neo had some news, but they're up 4% in pre-market. What was Neo's news? Let's see. See, I always take these with a kind of a, I don't like, I mean, that's kind of like listening to a douche on the internet is. Jolts. That's a catalyst, but let's see. We were looking at Neo. I wanted to see if there was news. Biggest stock movers today, yeah. Morning, Nevin. I'm gonna put this in. Wolf Financial? You mean the watch list Wolf? The Money Crew weekly picks by Wolf? Is that what you're asking about? These folks? We can scan it, in fact. Let's see. TG Therapeutics. Pinduo. Duo's down 2%. Carvana's down 1%. Wolf Speed. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let me just get through the scans. I'll look. Host Neo. Neo's got a cross up. Octa. ARCG. Look at that one. Saber. Let's look at the Dow. Let's look at NASDAQ 100. Fastenal. That one's been solid. ADP. Maybe you have a comeback in this one. Old Dominion Freight. Texas Instruments. Pepsi. IDXX. Exelon. Let's look at the S&P. Scan. CVS, I would never lead you into. Deere has been beaten down. I own a couple of shares of Deere. Might be time for that one to bounce off the 200-day at 340, 350. Pepsi, Exelon, and Texas Instruments. Okay. Let's look at your yeah, I got rid of the TQQQ, Brandon. You may have just jumped on, but I just dumped TQQQ. And let's see. I dumped it at 42.45. I was like, I'm up 30% on it. Let's just... It was sticking in my mind last night. Not that I was losing sleep over it, but... And it was all of, I think, 15, 20 shares. It wasn't that much at all. It's kind of how I traded that whole Webull account up. I'm at $3,040. My big winners yesterday were Snap and Spotify. They're up big. My big losers, by the way, since open. Let's see. We're going to do this. My biggest losers are Ford. I'm down 25%. That's one share, so it's not huge. I think I've been in and out of that one, but I still hold one share, and it's down 25%. Caterpillar, I'm down 3%. Kraft Heinz, I'm down 11%. Again, these are like one share. Coca-Cola, I'm down 5%, but that one's going back to 60, so I'm not worried about that one. That's one share as well. Starbucks, I'm down 3%. That one is going back to 100. I'm not worried about that one. Procter & Gamble, I'm up 1.7. Google, I'm up 2%. Gap, I'm up 42%. I own all of one share in Gap, so it's not that much. IONQ, I own 10 shares. I'm up 30%. Spotify, I own 5 shares. I'm up 7%. Boeing, I own 2 shares. I am up 8%. Snap, I own 20 shares, and I am up 10%. I bought that one, small amount. And Apple is my big one. I own 7 shares, and I'm up 33%. So that's my entire portfolio. So let's look at Wolf for you. Nevin, Wolf Speed. I mean, this is the 4 hour. The 4 hour loses you 57%. You lose 65% if you hold it for 2 years. Nothing in this chart would tell me, oh my God, I've got to get into it now, because your 200 days still moving down. I mean, think about it this way. In this particular one, you've probably got, let's see. We're going to stroke down. 5% between here and the 200 day. You do have a gap that seems a little juicy. That's a little higher to 49. But here, you're losing $689 million. You got 26. What's 26 times 124?
It's 3,224.
So you have about $3 billion. So you're losing, you have plenty of cash on hand. They're not going to dilute. You're down 41% year to date. The average target price is 43. Looks like it's fairly recent. The most recent one, $46 price, and you're trading at 40. Complete sale of business to Maycom. You've got buys back in August. Nothing real huge. There's nothing here that tells me, oh my God, I've got to get into this. Let's look at Wolf on Seeking Alpha. Major headwinds ahead. Strong sell. They don't have great profitability, no great momentum. The quant has it as a hold. Strong buy from Wednesday, November 1st. Let's see. Western Digital. They mentioned UBS will host conference. Okay, so it's a conference where wolf speed is included. I mean, if you want to hold on to it, the long term doesn't look. I mean, look at that chart. If we look at a 5-year, I mean, you're way back to where you bought it back in, 2020 when the world was shut down. So, if they were making money, I'd say that 52-week range is an opportunity. They're not making money. They're losing money. So, for me, it would just be, hey, they probably, it's nothing crazy. I just don't see it, Nevin. I don't see anything like nutso. Like, oh my God, I've got to get into this. Think of it this way. Oh, realty. Look at this chart. I mean, this chart provides me some hope because when you go and you look at there's some problems, but they're making money. These guys are making money. There's a 5% dividend on this. They're down 12%. They're under their 200-day. This is a solid REIT. Now, downgrade to 54, but they're trading at 44. They're trading at 55. Downgrade to 52, but the average price target is 58, but you're getting a 5% dividend in between there. If they pop back up to their most recent highs, which was August of 63, you've got an opportunity. The real issue with this is just hey, it's a REIT when we have some big problems. So, Nevin, I would tell you don't force a trade. If it doesn't, there's a difference between me telling you, hey, it's not a great one. If you have conviction on it, then go ahead and do it. If you're just looking for something to trade, that's forcing a trade. And in my mind, I think that's where people get into trouble is FOMO, and we're going to force a trade. So that's my take on things. So is it AIQ, Brandon? Oh, this is the ETF. Yeah, I mean, I think I've got this in the ETFs list or something. Here, this is the best way to look at it. Is just go over to Seeking Alpha. And this is free, by the way, if you sign up for Seeking Alpha. Use the link to sign up for Seeking Alpha, even if it's free. Look, they got Intel, ServiceNow, Adobe. NVIDIA is not in this one. And I'd ask why. For an AI, global intelligence and technology, you don't have NVIDIA in the top 10? Seems kind of strange to me. But, I mean, solid names. Maybe it's the valuation. Is it an actively traded ETF? Let's see. Yeah, it seems like it's an actively traded fund. So that might be why they don't have NVIDIA in here. But, I mean, I was watching 60 Minutes about quantum computers this weekend. Yeah, the Rich Habits dudes. I've always thought that, look at that expense ratio. You're paying 0.68 for them to manage a AI portfolio that doesn't include NVIDIA in the top 10. I mean, you can't argue with the, here, let's look. They're up 39% let's do year to date. 46% year to date versus the S&P up 20. You can't argue with the success of this one. When you go 3 years, let's see. Look at 3 years. I mean, 3 years, they're up 10% versus the S&P 25. I don't trade ETFs typically. I want to hold ETFs. So, part of the reason why I got here, we'll select symbols. We'll put in ARKK. Part of the reason I got out of ARK was because you look at the long term of ARK. ARK would be great to trade, but look at the long term of ARK. I mean, 3 year, 5 year, it's part of the reason I got out. Now, AIQ is up 112% in 5 years versus the S&P up 70%. ARK is up 12. So it's hard. I'm not going to bash on this one. The only problem I see is why don't you have NVIDIA? Unless they sold out of NVIDIA and took profits at 400. I mean, if we look at NVIDIA and they're using a MACD, we're going to remove all annotations. If they're using some type of MACD thing, then yeah, you get out of NVIDIA when it pops like that. I mean, it's down near the 200-day. In fact, I'm probably going to buy more NVIDIA at the 200-day. Look at the long term of this one. You're still way up there. I mean, you're still way up there. Look at that 50-day and the 200-day. You're nowhere even close to the 200-day. That bottom in October 2022, when it touched the 200-day, was just so ripe for NVIDIA. So I have to hold on. I have to put in my notes to look at Mara, MSTR, and Riot. Okay. Charts. We're going to give charts on those three. I have to put that in since I titled the damn thing. Yeah. It's, you could probably use that, the price by volume indicator that TrendSpider has. I have it on one of my other work areas, and it's not ready. But AIQ, look, I mean, if we're talking about button hooks here, and let's look at this chart. Gonna bring that down, and we'll just look since June. Okay, the high in June was right here, and you've broken out. So in my mind, I think these entry points are great. I think you're getting close to an exit here, and I think you'll probably come down to 25, 26, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then you'll get another entry point in this one. So I'd say it's probably a decent one to trade. If it's probably one of the best ones to trade, because the safety level of it going back down to 15 is probably not. You probably have a pretty good support level here in this realm, because we're probably not going down to 20 again. But you never know. If the bears are right and NVIDIA just has a bunch of multiple orders, maybe it's, maybe it is going back down to 20. U-bot, I-bot. Yeah, I mean, look at this opportunity in U-bot. Robotics, artificial intelligence, and we go over, let's look at this one. U-bot. Look at that dip, and you're still in the dip. Expenses, F. Let's see, expenses. Yeah, 1.35. Brandon, you're freaking out of your mind. I'm not paying 1.35 for them. Let's look at their holdings. Look at this. Their number one holding is bot Z. They're just holding a bunch of ETFs. So it's an ETF. Oh, this is the 2 times shares. Okay, that makes sense. So it's 2 times ETF. Yeah. Yeah, I think you got an opportunity in this one. But trade this one. Don't own it. That expense ratio is crazy. Yeah, I think, Chris, great trade on that one. I think that's the way to trade that one. The only thing that scares me about AIQ, and again, it's just a curve. I'm no expert at this, but it scares me that I go to their holdings and NVIDIA is not in their top 10. I mean, it's at $450, so I understand it. You may have just gotten out of it, but let's see. AIQ active ETF. Let's see. Allow. Let's see if they post. ETF prices, performance history, top holdings. Yeah, they don't post. They don't post what they sell, so it is what it is. GLXY. Let's look at GLXY. And then I got to do the podcast. Ammer, I don't see GLXY. I don't see it at all. Let's see. I don't see anything with GLXY. Let's see if it's in. Oh, it's over the counter. Your guess is as good as mine. If here's the thing, Ammer. Yeah, if I can't find it in TrendSpider and I can't find it in FinViz, it's a crypto play. I mean, I know I put in all crypto stuff. Oh God, I gotta sneeze. Oh, hold on. Excuse me. I'm not a crypto guy. Only crypto I suggest holding is Bitcoin and Ethereum. But I would say if I can't trade it in TrendSpider, if I can't find it on FinViz, I would be a little bit worried about it. It is here in LXY. It is here in, let's see. This is an investor group covering it. I don't need to look at it, but yeah, probably not fantastic. For me, I think you trade it, like you would a stock. I mean, here, I did Bitcoin yesterday. I typed in Bitcoin here. I typed in BTC. So Bitcoin versus the US dollar. Where was it? Is that it? Let me see. Maybe I did. BTC. Did I do the bottom one? No. I must have done this one. Wah, wah, wah. Here's my algo. So my algo got you in at 38 on Bitcoin. And I think there's Ethereum too. Let's see. Ethereum versus Euro, Coinbase. Where's my Ethereum versus US dollar? Versus Euro. Nah, the Grayscale Trust. ETH. Let's see. Futures, Ethereum versus US dollars, BitMEX. I have to ask Jason from TrendSpider what he uses. He trades crypto on here every now and then. But, Emma, my guess is that, trade it, don't own it. Galaxy Digital Holdings, I don't know what they hold. I don't know what their deal is, but they probably hold a bunch of crypto. I can't trade it in my brokerage, so let's see if it's in Webull. Let's see. GLXY. No. Can't trade it in Webull. So, yeah, I can't find it in Webull either. Okay. Let's do the podcast. Let me just see. Savvy Trader. Where's TQQQ? Did I get out of it too soon? Probably. Yeah. Oh, well. I had it in there for 42.50, but oh, well. Garmin's tough. So I'm a hiker. I'm a past runner. I need to get back into running. Garmin on the algo, great trade. I mean, good earnings. They're kind of back to where they are. But what you're seeing is, here, let's go over to FinViz because we can look at this one. So you can see their market cap, $23 billion, income of $1 billion. Average target price is $120, and it's at $124 right now. The 52-week high is $124. You got in when it was $160. Let's go back. You've been holding for a while, maybe. So kind of management of this one would have been here on the weekly when you started seeing it slide and you see it get under that 9-day. Those people that listen to me know that I use the 9-day as kind of my thing. Now, I will tell you this, Amber. Do as I say, not as I do, because I will show you a stock right after this that I've held on to as well. So it's hard. It's psychology of it is to get out of it. But if you've held since the 160s, you probably bought in this time frame, maybe around July or October of 2021, and you've continued to slide. So there hasn't been any confirmation. My guidance would have been, hey, get out of this one. I don't know that it's a huge opportunity. Your PE is 22. These are meant for huge growth companies. And I don't think that Garmin was a huge growth company. I mean, that 120 price target, take it with a grain of salt because, 115 is JP Morgan's. So it might be a little bit stretched with a 20 multiple. What you're probably hoping is that somebody buys this company, to be honest with you. What I know about Garmin, you see here at 120, the president sold $600,000 worth, so it's not a ton. General manager sold $500,000 at 106. I mean, they're selling at these lower valuations, which is never good. Just in June, August, September, October. They kind of think that it's probably stretched a little bit. We can go over here to Seeking Alpha and look at it. I would probably take the opportunity to write this loss off. If it's in a retirement account, You can look to dollar cost average. It's got solid momentum. So since their last earnings, they're over the 9-day. You're seeing it drive up there. From a 4-hour standpoint, on the algorithm, you're still seeing confirmation. I would just take a look, ever since their earnings, that RSI has been high. The MACD has been sliding down. Now you do have a little divergence where the MACD is sliding down, but the stock price continues to go up, which is good. That's good. And you have this gap up. I would probably put my stop losses in at about 120, right around this 21 day. I'd probably put my stop losses in at 120 if it continues to go down. But what I would do tax-wise, if this is in a brokerage account, is I would look at this weekly and I would say, okay, I'm going to take the losses on the way up because I'm going to start selling, but I'm going to write this off against my gainers. And I will show you a stock that I have held where I should have gotten rid of it is Target. And you look at a weekly, it looks almost exactly the same. The only difference was that I had this one little, hype rally here in 2022, and then you had this kind of thing. Garmin was just straight down. So this one had a little bit more confirmation on the 9-day here on the weekly, but I'm still holding it. I'm holding it at 123 right now, but it's got solid confirmation. It's in a retirement account, so it's a little bit different. Where I don't have a tax event. But what I would do with Garmin is probably just sell on the way up. And what you can do is if you take the losses, remember there's a thing called a watershed, I think, or waterfall moment or something. I forget what it's called. But you can't buy, if you're going to take the tax loss, you can't buy into that stock for 30 days. So if you take the loss on it, what I would do is take the loss on it, sell it at 120. If it continues to go down, just keep putting your stop losses in from a percentage standpoint of about 10% a week. Set your stop losses there, take the loss and move that into something probably a little more solid. Because again, with Garmin, I think in my mind, just knowing the company like I do, you're just really waiting for somebody to buy it. Because it's a high cost business, super high cost business. They're in the S&P 500, so I don't know wash sale. That's what it is, Nike. Thanks. Morning, Cherry. You're welcome, Amber. Happy to do it. Sorry I don't have crypto knowledge, but it is what it is. Okay, and okay, let me look at my notes. Let me pull up. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Wash sale. I'm still a little bit fevery, just so everybody knows. I woke up with the chills this morning. Okay. And I went 3 for 3 on fantasy football this Sunday. I am in 3 leagues, 3 teams, and I went 3 for 3. I think it's the third week of the year when I went 3 for 3. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell everybody the Mara, Riot, and Masters, MSTR MicroStrategy. Those charts I'll put in the newsletter. But crypto has been crazy. It's been nuts. So we'll put those. Just look at GBTC, man. How have I not been in GBTC? This is the gain, by the way, just 276%. I sold out of GBTC at the end of last year. GBTC has just been on a tear. Yeah, Scott, coin is just one of those that, I mean, here's the thing. They're going to, so when this, the spot ETF comes about, and I heard this stat in an interview or podcast about crypto that I was listening to, they're going to hold, I think 90% of the actual applied spot ETFs, they've said Coinbase will hold them. So they're going to make a ton of money off of just holding fees of holding crypto. Solid play, let alone the trading of it. All right, let's look at the PE on coin. They're not making money, $735 million bucks. But let me see. Yeah. Interesting ARC buys yesterday and sells. I'll include that in the newsletter as well. Okay, let's see. We're going to start this mofo. I don't think it's a bad play, to be honest with you, Scott. I think that's a good one. Ooh, look at that. It's down at 42.21. Did the jobs report come in? No. Hold on one second. Had to blow my nose before I start the podcast. I'm still stuffy, man. Okay, let's start this mofo. I'm gonna hit record. Good morning, Tuesday, December 5th, and I titled the live Mara Master. What is it? MSTR MicroStrategy, MSTR and Riot. Those charts, I will post them in the newsletter. I'll also do coin as well. I'll write down that I'll do coin. Crypto has been nuts. We'll put in GBTC and just the algo. You can trade crypto in TrendSpider. I mean, you can map out Bitcoin. You can map out Ethereum. I was just looking at GBTC and kind of how much I've given up in selling this last year. 276%. I think it was about a $50,000 gain or something if I had held on to all of the stuff that I had. Oh, well. I wish I would have gotten it. I wrote it off last year as part of a, tax loss harvesting. I should have bought back into it. I didn't. Should have, but I didn't. But crypto has been nuts. One that I did just sell, TQQQ. I sold TQQQ at about 42.30, I think, 42.20, 42.30, somewhere around there. I put it into Savvy Trader, and I put the reason into Savvy Trader. And if you go over here to Savvy Trader, and if you're following me on Savvy Trader, the trading portfolio, just put in the history. I included a chart, the chart that I'm trading it on, but I sold it 42.45. It's button hooked. Well, I think it may come back. I just sold my shares, decided to get out of it. Nice 40% gain, 30% gain, somewhere in that neighborhood. I'll buy back in, but the reason I sold it, you can see here this button hook. And when I talk about a button hook, it's a half circle. And when you look at a 4-hour chart, you can constantly see these half circuits. You're not going to time the top. But we've lost confirmation on the 9-day. The MACD is crossing down. The RSI is at 50. It's in no man's land. Do I expect it to come back up at some point in time? Yes, it will come back up. We're just having this golden cross, but I think it's just coming down a little bit. So I bought this at the beginning of November, thinking that November was a solid seasonal month. for TQQQ. If we look at TQQQ and we go back to, let's go back to 2010. So 14 years. The weeks of the years, you can see we've got a couple of weeks, but I'll buy back in because look at the 51 week, look at the 52 week, and then the 53 week, that's leap year. But if we just look at the monthly, you can see the November, solid month for 14 years, 79% with a mean of 8.55. I made 30%. You can see in December, it was only a 50% win rate. So you won 7 out of 10, mean rate 8.66. So still a good gain. But I just got out. I said, December, holiday time, I'm going to get out. No big thing. But I did put that on Savvy Trader. So if you're following that, that's great. This article will be in the newsletter. Biggest movers of the day. NEO surged more than 4% on their quarterly deliveries. GitLab surged 16% following AT&T's announcements. Ericsson surged 5%. Biggest stock losers, Nokia, SpringWorks. You can read this article. It's in Seeking Alpha. You can see more about it. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter over here, it's the fourth one down, Daily Stock Pick newsletter right here, Substack. You can read it every day for free. There is a paid version that is down here in the bottom that I do on the weekends, but the majority of the newsletter is for free. I will be raising the price, so I think it's $80 for the year. Lock in that price. Once I reorganize this front page, I'm going to raise the price to probably $100. So lock in $80 for the year. You'll get my newsletter every weekend. It includes more educational stuff. My setup on TrendSpider, the psychology of what I did, why I just sold TQQQ. I'll probably put that in the paid newsletter. So get that. If you want to trade like I do with the algorithm and see these button hooks and things, the entries and the exits on the algorithm, this is TrendSpider. Go over to Linktree, linktr.ee, and just click on the top. I think it's like $400 for another day or so for the elite level. You want the middle level. This is your sweet spot right here, elite. It's $429 for the year. So you just missed the regular pricing, but you're getting 53% off if you prepay for the year. So if you don't pay and you want a free 7-day trial, that price goes up to $780. If you just want to pay monthly, it's $79 a month. Either way, what you do is you basically click on this link. Then you email me, which is this link at dailystockpick3@gmail.com. I will send you a welcome letter. And I will send you a welcome letter that includes links to everything that you need to get. And the way you do this, and this is what I wanted to show you, is TrendSpider yesterday said, hey, SPY closed with a closed red today, but some very important stocks still managed to print a hammer candle. A hammer candle is a candle where the close is high on the thing. It creates like a hammer. So if you want to find this, you would go over here, and this is what my welcome letter includes. You just basically click on a link and you log in and import, and you subscribe to that. And then you can go to your default workspace and look, and your hammer candle would be down here, right here. If you go over here and you look for hammer, hammer, daily hammer by TrendSpider, and you scan this. Let's look at the market scanner, and we're going to look at the hammer, daily bullish hammer by TrendSpider, and you can look at it's doing the S&P 500. So you can look at this, and it pulls up the candles will have a hammer. My candlesticks don't have a hammer, but you can see that's Microsoft, HWM, Howmet Aerospace, and LCRX. If you want to scan something that's in a little different category, say you want to scan the core investments group, you would just scan the core investment groups. Did anything, come up with a hammer candle? And it's simple market scanner. But that's how you do it. That's how I sell this thing. That's how I get you in, is with the 4-hour algorithm. It is just an import where you just import it, and it's nice and simple. So let's take this one out. We're going to take that out. There we go. Oh, I need to put that back in. But we'll put that back in a little later. But I did get out of TQQQ, and we're going to claim it back. Default workspace. There we go. And it did take out my list. But I'm going to hit pause for a second. I'm going to stop recording. I messed up my TrendSpider thing. So watch, add to visible column. And then I guess I've got to, we're going to close the seasonal. Add to visible column. And there we go. Okay, I like that one. We're going to do the core investments. There we go. Now let me hit record again. Okay, sorry about that. But that's how you import the hammer candles, setting everything up. One thing I wanted to point out on Twitter as well is that AVGO, retest and bounce incoming. Look at that chart from TrendSpider right there. I'll include this in the newsletter if you want to see it, the link to the tweet. But this looks like a breakout may be possible. Maybe retesting here, AVGO. If we look at AVGO, Broadcom, they have earnings coming up. And they have earnings coming up, is it Wednesday? It is, yes, it's Thursday. Thursday after the bell. And are they going to retest it? Here in the algorithm, you can see we got in at 875. It started to pull back, got us out with a 7.52% gain. You're trading at 910 right now. If we go over here to FinViz and we look at AVGO, you can see a little bit high on the PE, not super high on the forward PE, on the expected. It's up 65% year to date. The target price is 1,104. You're trading at 923 right now. You can see most of these coverages with price targets are this year. So I think it's good, solid one. You can see a buy of $800,000 by a director here at 858. Most of these buys are at there's one at 872, which was $10 million by a director as well. The sales, 855. You know, the big one here at 626 was in March. So they're not a ton of selling, but they're keeping. I would guess that this one has a solid trajectory. We can look at AVGO right here. And in Seeking Alpha, they say hold. Wall Street says buy. Quant Ratings, strong buy. And you can read this article, Broadcom stock. Again, if you go over to Seeking Alpha, you can read all this stuff. The valuation is where they say, hey, it's a D in Seeking Alpha. It's been a solid earner. I think Broadcom, you know, if you want to play earnings this week, this is a solid company to play earnings. So I'll include that chart in the newsletter. Today we have MongoDB, Sentinel-1, Neo, Stitch Fix, Dave & Buster's, and Toll Brothers. Tomorrow we have MBA mortgage applications, ADP unemployment, and unit labor costs. Wednesday is a big one because we have GameStop. And GameStop has been on a run. Look at this one where we've got GameStop earnings coming up. You've got the algorithm getting you in at 1313. That right there is in, 2 days, a nice 31% gain. And you're right up against that 200-day. It's going to provide some resistance. Don't care what timeline you're looking at. That's going to provide some resistance. The RSI is at 69. And the MACD looks like it's crossing up. It's still crossing up. But you might get a little button hook. I don't know what they're going to come out with. GameStop, for me, I don't think it's undervalued. I don't think it's overvalued. I think it's just one of these stocks that people love to trade. So hold on one second. Hold on. What's going on down here? I have no idea. Hey. They're screaming for you. No. They heard a noise and they think that there's somebody in the house. Now I got a lot of editing to do. Mofo. Okay. But I figured I'd cover it. Look, long term, I mean, just it's got some type of confirmation here long term. I just don't believe in this stock. We can look, if you want to look at Seeking Alpha, it's a sell. It's a hold. There's no way anybody's rating this a buy. I mean, it's just not. The only thing is retail. If retail comes back into this one and they start trading it, solid play. But Broadcom, DocuSign, Lululemon's a big one that we have on Thursday as well. And I showed that in Webull. This one has just been a solid. I mean, look at this move. 403 back in November, you're up 10%. From a long-term standpoint, this one has been a solid mover. I think you're running into this double top right here, which is at about 491. At about 500, you get to a point where this one is just probably going to pull back. I can't imagine it doesn't pull back. The PE on this one is huge, 58.32. Me in particular, I like to shop on Amazon with Lulu-like. You can see they've got it a buy here. It's a strong buy. The valuation is the only thing that's come out on this one. As far as their growth, everything else is solid moving on this. I would just worry about if you're trading at 456 and you get to 500, it's a solid move. But you've got to, if they have anything that is negative, anything that even slightly goes wrong, this one's going to fall. So one thing that's coming out, the first 4 times levered ticker, 4 times S&P. It is 4X. So it's XXXX. Crazy that it's 4 times levered. It's going to be new, so it's probably going to be hot. You can probably trade this one for a pretty good, solid trade, as long as, again, the S&P is going up. But that's a 4 times levered ETF. XXXX. It's not out there yet, I don't think. Let's see. XXXX. Oh, it is out there. 4 times levered ETF. So I guess it opened up yesterday. Solid. If you want to trade that one, you can do that one. I'll include that in the newsletter. There was some interesting buys and sells yesterday from ARK. I noticed PagerDuty is on her top list, and PagerDuty has been just beaten down of recent. It started to come back a little bit. But you've got this gap up here between 24 and 25. She's buying in rather large portions in a couple of different places. So I noticed that one. I noticed too that she's buying Toast, T-O-S-T. This one got beaten down, and it's down at 14. This one came all the way down from 20. So, hold on one second. Oh, man, this cold. I got a lot of editing to do. I'll do SOFI, ADA after I'm done with this. Oh. So Toast, yeah. Toast. Nat Gas and Boyle and KOLD. This is a great article that I read. Natural gas sinks to lowest in September on mild weather record output. So you've got mild weather and you've got record output. I talked about this the other day, where Boyle, it trades on the futures of natural gas. So you can take a look at Boyle. Boyle today is up 4%. It does seem like it bounces between gains and losses. I would say trade the 65-minute. This one has just been a monster downward slide. Now, the 65-minute on here, you wind up losing 11% trading this over 8 months, but you've lost 49%. If you just bought and held. The one that has been the winner is KOLD. KOLD is up 11% if you just bought and held this 8 months ago. You're currently in on the 65-minute at 81.55. It's 82.25. Looks like you're coming down. You got some gaps down here that I think might be in play. So I would probably take a look at this one. If you're interested in natural gas, read that article. I'll include it in the newsletter. Social requests. Sam asked me to look at the Hawaiian Airlines Alaskan deal. Here's what I know about this one. You were up, 180% yesterday. You were trading at $4. It kind of went up with some rumors. You can see the volume. The algorithm got you in at 13.59. I would probably say that was just pure luck to get in at 13.59. You're trading at $13.80, down 2%. The deal is that Alaska Airlines will buy them for $18. Now, here's the problem. And if you look at Alaska Airlines, ALK, this one just tanked. And this one went from a $39 to a $30. It went all the way down to 32 yesterday. It's at 34.56. I don't know that it's necessarily going to come back all the way. Remember, airlines for me have just been a losing strategy. I can't imagine that it's a good strategy. If we look at a weekly of Alaska Airlines, you can see it's just come down. I mean, the consolidation in the group probably good, but what I'm hearing is they just overpaid. I mean, why would you offer $18 per share to a company that's trading at $5? If we look at the long term on Hawaiian Airlines, these guys were in a slide. I mean, it's an obvious slide. So asking for $18 is way up here at the 200-day. They're now trading at 13. There is a thought that the administration will not allow this to go through. That's why you're trading at 13. They're saying it will take at least a year, 12 to 18 months to complete. I don't want to hold on to it for that long. And I don't think that Alaska Airlines is going to go up because of this. I think they're going to, it's a distraction. And I think Hawaiian Airlines, I think it's great if it goes through. I think they'll be fighting for it. But, between now and then, you're going to trade probably between $13 and $15. I don't see a trade in it. I think if you see a trade in it, you go after it. I just don't see a great one. Luca from Spotify asked me, I was wondering if you could talk about 3M, one of your podcasts. The information I'm able to scavenge on my own paints a very confusing picture of the company. So here's what I know about 3M, and I only know probably headline reading, is that these guys were involved in a bunch of lawsuits, including earplugs with the military, where people went deaf even though they were wearing earplugs. There was a mask issue with 3M around COVID. I'm not certain that the management, it kind of goes back to kind of Target. A quality company with bad management. I think that's what you're dealing with here. I think you're dealing with products that really aren't that great, to be honest with you. Look at that slide. If you want to buy back into this one, I think there's better places to put your money, to be honest. When we look at 3M, if you've got pending lawsuit litigation, look at the income. They lost $7 billion. I mean, you don't know what's going to, what you don't know in this company could hurt you. You can see December 4th, an upgrade from Barclays to 107, and you're trading at 103. So they upgraded it, but they only put the target price to 107. Why would you put the target price at 107 and you're trading at 103? I mean, again, if you were expecting this one to soar, I can't imagine. So if we go over to Seeking Alpha and we look up 3M, we can see the quant rating on this one, the Wall Street and the Seeking. It's hold. I mean, it's just, I don't think your research is bad, Luca. I just think the picture's kind of bad. So the outlook is bad. I can't imagine this one being a good one. I will include some links to my FIRE podcast, The Financial Independence Retire Early. I turned out I never got it onto Apple, so I applied last night for Apple Podcasts. If you guys want to listen to that one, it is on Spotify. If you go over to Spotify, Spotify.com, and we just look, I think it's FIRE and Minimalism. There's 3 episodes. It's probably not my best work. But if you wanted to take a look at it, it is, let's see, where's my search? There it is. FIRE, there it is. FIRE and Minimalism, there it is. Right there. Sorry, I'll have to edit that out. You know what? I'm going to pause. Okay. And FIRE Minimalism right here, it's a 3 episodes. And FIRE, if anyone's going to tell you about FIRE and it being a, hey, I'm going to sell you a course, the course is simple. It's what's your FIRE number, find out what your financial independence number is. The second is start tracking your expenses. And the third is increase your income. It's as simple as that. So I did 3 episodes. I'll probably do more. And the reason why this came up is because mint.com is actually going away. And I use Mint every day to use stuff, but Intuit's taking Mint away. They're folding it into Credit Karma. But you can see here, I found Empower, and I like Empower, and they'll give you $20 if you use that link on my link tree. But that's the reason it came up. I'll include that in the thing. Let's look at some scans. In the core portfolio, Uber gets another cross up. I mean, this one's just continuing to go. Trading at 57. I said yesterday when it was trading at 60, I think 60 is the magic number on here. I didn't trim at 60, probably should have, but 60 is going to be tough for this one to hold again. So Uber got a cross up. Pepsi got a cross up as well. I've talked about this one being $180 stock. It's at 168 right now. I think it gets back to 180, so I don't think it's bad for you to buy it. 151, great trade here. If you bought it at 161. I mean, solid. It's a solid company. I own this one because I do. I drink a lot of cola for some reason, but Boyle got a cross up yesterday. It's just kind of floundering down here. I would tell you, read that article on natural gas supply and warmer weather. That's the big one to read. FAZ got a cross up. This is the financial bear for finances, and it's triple levered. So don't be scared that your stuff's going to go down. But triple levered financial bear got a cross up here at 1562. You're trading at 1592. It's up 2%. Could mean that the financials have just run too far too fast. Could be as simple as that. One that I found interesting, and I'll include this chart in the newsletter, is Realty Income. This is a REIT with a 5% dividend. It's a solid, it's one of the largest REITs, I think, out there. It's just crossed its 200-day. So you're holding it above there. If we look at the long term, this is what I want you to see, is the long term, it looks like it's beaten down, but it's starting to come back. Don't want to raise the white flag and say, hey, it's done going down and it's going to go up again, because you're nowhere near the 50-day. It's still turning negative. The 200-day is still turning negative. You just had this death cross here back in May, but with October's lows kind of being done and we have confirmation above that, it's an interesting one if you're interested in REIT. NEO. They were one of the most active stocks today. NEO, they reported their record quarter. This is up 4%. They had a cross up here at $7.29. ARKG. I like to track the ARK funds. I don't invest in them. I will trade them. Genomics is something I know nothing about. So ARKG is just up at its 200-day. I mean, it just got another leg up. Here down at 26, you're trading at 28. Solid move already. You could be coming up if you close above that 200-day, but you can see yesterday we kind of bounced up against it. It's probably providing some resistance, but it did get a bullish cross up on this one. Now, Deere. Deere is one that I want you to look at. I currently own a couple of shares of Deere, but it's $368. You're trading at $363. The reason I want you to look at that is not a short-term trade. It's long-term. I think you've got the downside here to probably 332, which would be another 10% down. You don't have confirmation, but it should be in your watch list because the RSI is down at 42 and the MACD is kind of below the oscillator. So it looks like it might be an opportunity for you to get into this name long term. I don't think Deere's going anywhere. They're the way that they maintain their tractors and the cost to farmers and their cost of the machinery, I think it's a solid company. Again, solid earnings. So if you have any questions, hit me up on email, any of the socials. They're all up here on the link tree. The link is down below, linktr.ee/daily stock picks. Okay, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Say bye. Okay, I got a ton of editing to do. Let's look at SOFI for you, Ada, and then I'm going to go. Oh, there you are. I know I didn't see you go under there. Okay, you could go, yes. I know you were making a whole bunch of noise. Okay. Sorry, I thought my dog was scared and she was under the table. Okay, let's look at SOFI. SOFI, solid if you use the algorithm and got in at 690. It's at 782. Look, I mean, there's a classic. Oh, the 200-day came in. Let's bounce back. You're starting to get in the button hook. If you're in this one, I'd probably get out. I don't know that I'd necessarily get in because that 200-day on the 4-hour, if you're trading this, look, it's bounced there once in October, again in November, and now in December. And it just kind of bounced down. Now, from a long-term standpoint, if we take a look at the weekly, you're just kind of in this range. I mean, you know, you're hitting on the bottom, the 50-day. But you're up above there. It doesn't have a 200-day yet because it's still rather new on the weekly. But you're right at the oscillator line. I expect this one to be a $10 stock at least. So I think ADA, it's just there's nothing from a chart perspective. I don't think there's anything positive. I don't think there's anything negative on this one. I think if you're in it, you have to decide if you're long-term or short-term. If you're short-term, I'd probably get out. If you're long-term, I'd probably stay in and wait to add to it. But I don't think there's anything to do. That's my take on that one. So hopefully that's good for you. I got to go and edit this one. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. It's 10 o'clock. So I got to get going because I've got like six videos to edit now. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.